So, for some reason, I really have never been afraid or felt funny about even just the word dying.
Good.
And I think a lot of people are. And I think
they are.
in certain other religions, they're not. Like
You're going to die. You're going to die, so why worry about it?
Right.
I mean, it's going to happen.
Right. Right.
Period.
Right. And if you live that way, knowing that, I think every moment that you live is that much more precious, and you remember the things that are more important.
I think it's the most important thing to me is religion for this reason. It sets standards, and if everybody had a different standard, you could kill people, you could injure them, you could do anything. But if you have standards, you have a foundation from which to act and think and utilize your talents. I'm a great believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. I really, God, He's the Son of God, and it makes my life much simpler.
What do you think happens to your spirit or your soul when you die?
I think you die in God's arms or go into God's arms when you die. I think if you have not lived reasonably well, I think I don't think you'll end up in God's arms the way. I don't know how many levels of arms He has.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
Right. Right.
I can't begin to fathom God, although I can't begin to fathom how anyone but a God could have created the universe.
Huh.
I can't see how it happening accidentally.
Right.
And that, to me, is the foundation, and you go from there. So
there's a divine hand in all of it.
My lady friend and I we can talk for hours on anything. We don't agree on a lot of things.
Well, that's okay. That makes it more interesting,
it's
right?
Wonderful. She hasn't gotten politically done any in-depth politics.
Right.
And she's a bit of a rebel. and I have done in-depth politics, and I'm at what you call an independent. I'm a conservative independent. I won't take anything new that isn't proven until I know it's good. I don't go with the crowd. I never followed the crowd. You say go with the flow, I think you're stupid to follow the crowd. You will join the crowd if it fits your interpretation of the needs for the moment or the foundation of your being, but you just don't go with the crowd. The hell with the crowd.
It's for the mindless.
I've never been a follower. Never followed the crowd.
Yeah.
And your dad's not a follower. He doesn't follow the crowd.
No, I don't think so.
No, he's not. No.
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah.
Dad's a lot like you.
Oh, he has some of the genes.
Sure, sure.
No, I didn't know your dad very well. I knew your mom a little bit. I mean, your granddad and your grandmom. I didn't know them well.
Yeah.
I knew them slightly.
You know, I was thinking about him because I was with him when he died.
Oh, boy.
And again, I don't have a fear of death. And I think he did. Or it was very uncomfortable for him. Or he was ready to go, but he didn't want anybody around.
Did he have a lot of pain?
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah. And I think
that's tough.
And I think there were maybe some things that maybe were unsettled in this life that maybe had to do with Rob. Or there was something there too that I think, you know, while you're living, to make good however you can, so that when you do pass on, you're ready.
Yeah.
You know, you've taken care of everything that you've had to take care of here on Earth.
I don't believe that when I die I will have taken care of everything I would like to have taken care of, because I'm imperfect. I'm a human being.
I like that.
But I never have wished anyone harm. I've always
Right.
tried to help people.
Right,
So I can only do the best I can
right,
at any given time.
right.
And so that's great.
Can I show you some pictures?
Yes.
Okay.
Imagine that.
The war ended while you were saying goodbye
Yes. The war ended while we were saying goodbye.
in Nebraska.
And I rented a horse in the park and galloped around the park. And I wasn't discharged. That was in August, I believe. I wasn't discharged until February of '46, and that was 1945. So my track career was never fully fulfilled. It was all mixed up. But there was one occasion where I was stationed at a base, and several of the people with me at the station there had come into the service when I did. We were still in the same group, and they told this lieutenant in the athletic department that I was a big track man. So the lieutenant had one hurdle made up for me to practice on, and they were going to send me to the Nationals championship. That lieutenant was shipped out, and a new lieutenant came in, and he wanted nothing to do with one hurdle and a guy he knew nothing about, really. So I didn't get to go. So after the war ended, I won the national championship. I was just hoping that guy would read the paper and recognize it.
Did you train on one hurdle?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I was in the service for a while, training on one hurdle, yeah. But I won many straight quarter miles, the Rocky Mountain Championship, during the course of my traveling in the country out in the service. I would always, we used to do a 300, everybody did a 300-yard run. And I broke the record every place I went. So I was always put into track meets of any substance, if there were any. So I won some significant quarter-mile championships on occasion. And one time, Enos Slaughter, who ended up as the Hall of Fame in the Baseball Hall of Fame, became a Yankee. He was then with St. Louis. And he was the athletic director in charge when I won this great big track meet and beat this guy from Duke who was supposed to be real hot. And Slaughter treated me like everybody treated him, and he was a star. I used to take it. He played for the San Antonio team where I was stationed then, and I used to sit with his wife during the ball game, and after that we'd go to dinner, the three of us.
Where was Georgia then?
That was before Georgia.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Was there something about Grandma Georgia's family?
She had a sister that was either in the crazy house or put into an asylum of some kind as an infant, as a child.
Oh, as a child.
Yeah.
And was their family in the Oklahoma land rush?
I'm not sure, but she claimed to have part Indian blood. much. Her father was a high school principal. He died at the age of 33. Her mother was a school teacher. She remarried a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia was 3 years old when her father died. So,
What about your parents?
my mother and dad, my mother was from Ireland, my dad was from Italy. And I never had a taste of real family life because they just seemed to be apart. There was no evidence of any love or affection. It was I had a strange childhood, very lonely. If it wasn't for track, I don't know what I'd have been. It took me out of my shell.
Ah,
I was what's the word I'm thinking of?
like reclusive or introverted?
Introverted. I was a real introvert.
Wow.
Yeah,
And track pulled you out of it.
yeah.
Because, I mean, weren't you VP of sales for Hasbro Toys or?
I was VP for Hasbro Toys. I was national sales manager for Parker Brothers, who made Monopoly. I was the buyer of one of the top 10 department stores in the country in the toy department. I represented a lot of factories on occasion. I was in the toy business for 36 years.
I like that history. My mom owned a candy store. I grew up in a candy store, and my grandfather sold toys on a national level. So do you travel around a lot for your job?
I had always had 5 regional managers. Tell you a funny story. Statistically, which is what merchandising is all about,
Yeah.
the southern manager was responsible for 18% of the company's business. History has shown us year after year that it was approximately 18% of the company's business. But we did have came out with a card game.
Mm-hmm.
That was a card game. However, it was a game that you could gamble with. And the 18% of the company's business that occurred in the southern region, in that particular item, we sold 50% of our business because all the Baptist card players that didn't gamble bought that card game so they could gamble. And then when Barbie came out, I misread it. I said, the mothers will not buy that sexy doll for their child. I was 100% wrong.
Did you have say in what toys were brought to market?
No, there's an R&D, research and development.
Yeah.
They developed the toys, and I got involved in conversations and helping them, but I wasn't an instrumental part of the development. And then they would turn over to me to distribute those toys nationally, which was my job. And but the 5 years I spent in a department store was the best foundation for me in the toy business. It was tremendous. I took a department that did $800,000 when I took it over. 5 years later, I was doing $1.3 million, and Federal Reserve in Philadelphia had remained stationary. We had 5 major department stores, and I was getting the cream of the crop.
Wow.
I was good at my work. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my work.
Certainly not introverted after some point in your life, huh?
My track brought me out of that, because when you get to the point where people admire you and look up to you and everybody's talking to you, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I kept my I never followed the crowd, but I kept myself to myself, but I appreciate it when people seem to appreciate me.
Do you think maybe some of your analytical thinking came from when you were younger, when you had more space and time to be more introverted?
Probably. Could be.
And maybe even your drive to excel?
Yeah, definitely. Very definitely the drive to excel.
Because you certainly did.
Yeah.
You know, I just realized this. I had to write an essay, and one of the questions was, name 5 people that you admire, and just list about 3 words about their personality or their attributes, and then a little bit further down, write a couple sentences about what it is that why you chose them, what it is about them that you admire. And you were one of my 5 people.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, for one, to be the fastest
That's
for 1946 in the world, just is pretty much as close to superhuman as you can get. But what I admire about it is the mental drive and the will to push yourself beyond what you think your limits are. And I'm sure that also went into other areas of your life, because I think it's a personal choice. It's your psychology.
That's right. If you find a direction, you just go there all the way. If you're satisfied that's the right direction.
Ah, okay. That's good advice.
I wish you could have met Annabelle. Annabelle.
I love that name. Annabelle.
I've never heard it before.
It's beautiful.
I've never met anyone called Annabelle until this one.
I love that name. It's beautiful. I'll remember it when I have kids.
I call her my Annabelle.
Yeah.
She's a delightful lady, really is.
What is it about her that's so delightful? What is?
I read people, I read faces. I'm an analyst.
Yes.
And I saw this beautiful face. And I've not told this story. And I don't know, I may have told this story. I don't think I've told this story, but where we were staying at the other facility, it was a very nice place and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I saw this lady. She had been there since January. And I saw her, and I literally was impressed with her looks. I just read something in there, and I would follow her with my eyes wherever I could see her and look for her. And I didn't do anything about it. For some reason, I just didn't feel, I didn't push it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one time when I was sitting across from her during a piano recital, and my friend that sat at my table, my boyfriend, one of my men friends at our men's table, was sitting across from me, and she was sitting next to him. And I was staring at her for a half hour. And she didn't know it, but I just was taken with that face.
Oh.
And never did too much about it. I did attempt one time, and I thought I was rebuffed, but I don't know. She doesn't remember the incident, so I don't know how it, but I felt a rebuffal. So I sort of just backed off. And when I left there, they had put a picture of me on this table. I was one of the early men in the place, and really and I was on the 3rd floor, and I was always in the elevator going down to the first floor for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and supper. And people would get onto the elevator with their carts, and they wouldn't use any judgment in coming into the elevator and placing themselves so somebody could get in behind them and everything. So I took it upon myself to say that I'm a former elevator operator. Would you mind getting over here? You know. And then I told them, some people, that I was former policeman, you're going to have to move that over here. So I had a little fun with myself in the elevator, trying to help these stupid women, if you'll pardon the expression. I didn't know how they could drive a car and not place a cart halfway decent in the elevator.
Right, right.
So I would go through this with them. So, and they all learned to know me, you know. So some of them got to like me, you know.
Sure.
And when Annabelle came along, she found out that all these ladies liked me.
Oh.
So she was a little disturbed about that. So anyway, when John David arranged to set me up in this place, it was much too soon to have it, but we made a mistake coming in here.
Yeah.
And when I left here, when I left the other place, they had put a picture of me up on this stand where you get your coffee. And I took this picture and I wrote a little something on it, and I slipped it under her door.
Oh.
And then I moved, and she wrote me a thank you note, very nice thank you note, and I wrote her back a little note, and pretty soon we were getting pretty interested. So I would keep coming back to that place, and now we're in love. Strange, 92 and 86-year-olds, people in love. But it's amazing how much smarter we are about it, because we know so much more. We've been through marriage, and it's fascinating. And we don't agree on everything, strangely enough. There's a lot of things we disagree on, but we can handle it beautifully, and we laugh a lot. We have a lot of fun together. We really do.
That's great, Grandpa.
I wish you could meet her. It's terrific.
Yeah.
George and his children will be coming up here for Thanksgiving week.
Mm-hmm.
And he's invited her to join us for dinner one night.
Oh, that's sweet.
So she'll meet George and the kids.
That's sweet. That's
No.
sweet. Yeah. I've got a 10.5-hour drive tomorrow.
What time is it?
It's almost 10.
9:45. You better
Yeah.
get calm and get some rest.
But I will be, like I said, I'll be in New England for several months.
Great.
And I have to drive back down the coast again.
Stop
So
by, please.
part of my plan will be to stay a little bit longer and visit a little bit longer, and I'd love to meet Annabelle.
Wonderful.
I'd love to meet Annabelle.
Terrific.
She sounds lovely.
If it's on a weekend, we could go out to a dinner.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try and plan
Yeah.
for that.
Okay,
That would be great.
great. Well, thank you so much. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much.
Me too, me too. I wish we could do it more often.
You know. Well, it's hard for me to keep track of everybody. I forget so much.
I'll do.
I've learned not to worry too much. I think I could be called cool.
You are pretty cool. You're a cool cat.
Cool cat.
Yes.
Not in the sense of today's parlance.
You're pretty even-keeled, too.
Oh,
You're,
boy.
you're pretty sharp,
I'm so
Grandpa.
glad you stopped by.
Me too, me too.
That's great.